If you've been scrolling through endless specs, watching YouTube unbox videos, and still feel stuck wondering whether a 4K projector is actually worth the space on your ceiling, you're not alone. The market is flooded with promises of cinema-grade images, but the reality of setting one up in a living room can feel like a puzzle. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'm going to walk through the LG CineBeam UHD 4K Projector HU710PW and point out exactly where it shines, where it might trip you up, and who should really consider clicking that buy button. First off, let's talk about the everyday environment most of us live in. You probably have a sofa that faces a wall, a few picture frames, maybe a bookshelf, and you definitely don't have a dedicated darkroom. The HU710PW's lens shift and zoom are built for that kind of setting. Because the projector can move the image up, down, left or right without you having to physically relocate the unit, you can mount it a little higher on the ceiling and still get a perfectly rectangular picture on a screen that isn't perfectly centered. The zoom range lets you adjust the image size without moving the projector closer or farther away, which is a relief when your room length is fixed. In practice, I've seen users throw a 100-inch screen onto a wall that's only 12 feet away, and the projector still fills it nicely just by using the zoom knob. That flexibility is the real value add, especially if you're renting and can't drill holes or change furniture layout. Now, the light source is where LG tries to differentiate itself. The hybrid system mixes a laser with two LEDs, which gives you a long-lasting illumination source and a decent level of brightness for a home theater that isn't pitch black. The laser part means the colors stay punchy over time, while the LEDs help keep the lamp life in the tens of thousands of hours. What that translates to in a typical evening is a picture that stays vibrant even after years of use, without the sudden dimming you sometimes notice on older lamp-based projectors. If you're someone who watches movies weekly, that longevity can save you both money and the hassle of replacing a pricey lamp. HDR10 with dynamic tone mapping is another buzzword that often feels empty until you see it in action. On the HU710PW, the dynamic tone mapping analyzes each frame and adjusts the brightness and contrast on the fly, which helps preserve detail in both the darkest shadows and the brightest highlights. In practical terms, a nighttime cityscape looks more realistic, the streetlights don't get washed out, and the sky retains its deep blues. When you pair that with LG's filmmaker mode, the projector essentially turns off a lot of the post-processing that most TVs apply, letting the content look as the director intended. For cinephiles who binge Netflix's 4K HDR catalog or stream Blu-ray discs, that means you get a cleaner, more authentic image without the soap opera look some TVs add. All these strengths, however, come with some hidden trade-offs you need to weigh. The biggest one is brightness. The hybrid light source is efficient, but the projector's lumen rating isn't disclosed in the brief I have, and reviewers of similar models often note that a fully bright room can still wash out the image. If you plan to watch movies in a room with a lot of ambient light, say, a family room with large windows that stay open, you'll probably need to invest in blackout curtains or a high-gain screen to get the most out of the HDR performance. Another consideration is the sound. The HU710PW doesn't come with a built-in speaker system that can fill a living room, so you'll need a separate audio solution, whether that's a soundbar, a home theater receiver, or a Bluetooth speaker. That adds an extra cost and a bit of extra wiring, but it's a common reality for most 4K projectors. Who should actually buy this projector? If you're a movie lover who values image fidelity over sheer brightness, have a room where you can control lighting, and don't mind setting up a dedicated screen or a painted wall, the HU710PW fits nicely. It also works well for gamers who want a large, low-input-like display for immersive sessions. The low processing mode preserves the original frame rate and reduces latency. On the other hand, if you're looking for a plug-and-play solution that works equally well in a bright living area, or if you simply want a TV-size display without the extra effort of mounting and screen selection, you might be better off with a high-end 4K TV. The same goes for anyone who expects the projector to double as a primary TV for daytime TV shows and news. You'll likely end up fighting the ambient light. In terms of price-to value, the real savings come from the hybrid light source's longevity and the flexibility of lens shift. You won't be replacing a lamp every few years, and you can keep the projector on the ceiling for years.